Hello, everybody, and welcome to Mr. Samuelson's class. This is going to be how we do our video lessons for the year. Today's video lesson is on flipped learning. This is an introductory lesson on the procedures for our class titled Lesson 0-1 Flipped Learning. All right, so this lesson is about saying goodbye content lectures. This is because content lectures in class can be boring. Watching a teacher stand and lecture leaves you guys pretty inactive, just sitting there and passively hoping to absorb some knowledge. This increases the temptation to be off task, to check your phone, or to just stare out the window and daydream a little bit. It's not an effective use of classroom time. It's boring. Now, I will be honest with you, I was once upon a time the definition of a boring teacher. This is what I used to do. I was a great lecturer. But I would spend 20, 30 minutes a day every single class period talking at students and hoping you were absorbing it. Uh, it didn't work so very well. Found that this approach worked a lot better because people just kept waiting for me to stop talking. I know, I'm sorry, I did it to you. I'm trying not to anymore. So, the solution to that is flipped learning. What flipped learning does is it removes the lecture from the classroom. No longer this big info dump session where I am standing up and talking at you for 20, 30 minutes. Without this lecture, we now have freed up a lot of our class time to change the role. Instead of the teacher being the active one participating in lessons and everybody else statically sitting there just watching the teacher, all of a sudden now students get to engage more with each other and with the work, while the teacher simply supervises and coaches, guides them through the process. Leaving the flipped approach leaves more time for this in the class. So how is the content taught? It is taught through homework videos. In this class, when you get homework, more often than not, it will be a simple video, usually around 8 to 10 minutes in length, which you can watch on a computer or on your phone. Now, why do I do this? Why do flipped learning? Well, it's about that peer-to-peer interaction. It's about students talking about the issues with each other in class. That is what I'm hoping to stimulate and increase through this process. It also will help you keep up with content if you've been absent from class. If you missed 2 days of class, you were able to keep up with the basic information and know what the pace of learning was like because you were able to follow the videos at home. Yeah, it makes catching up an easy thing to do. You can also work ahead. Let's say that you have a very busy schedule coming up. You know that you're on the baseball team and you've got districts and regionals and states coming up pretty soon, and you're going to be very busy fine tuning your game. You can plan ahead. You can work ahead, and you can get some of this work done in advance so you don't have to worry about it later when you'd rather be focused on how to hit a curveball. It also helps you to arrive to class prepared and knowledgeable, to walk into the room with the confidence that you already know something about what's going to be covered in class that day. You get to start the class knowing that you know what we're talking about that day. So, how do we show what we know? How do we prove that we learned from these videos? Well, that comes in the form of an entry ticket. That is, each video comes with a short quiz, a 6-question quiz that asks you about what you learned in that video. Those entry tickets are scored automatically. As soon as you click submit, it is graded by an automatic grading system and shot out to your email. This usually happens within about a minute, sometimes two, sometimes a lot less than a minute. But keep an eye on your email after you click submit, and your grade should come through. Now, entry tickets can be redone as many times as you like. If you don't like your grade, redo it. Because I don't care what you learned the first time you watched. What I care about is what you knew when you walked into the classroom the next day. Yes, you can do it an unlimited number of times. 2 times, 3 times is common. 4 times happens sometimes, although we might want to talk about how you're watching the videos if you need 4 attempts to pass it. But I have had students take it as many as 8 times because they wanted to get that 100%. They wanted to figure out what it is they were missing. Once we have your information, once I know how you scored, you can be placed into mastery groups for your bell work. One of 3 different activities that you participate in based upon your score on your entry ticket. Scores of 100% mean that you're going to work with other members of your house that scored 100% to create a mini lesson which can teach the class your material. That's right, the student will become the teacher. Scores of 60 to 80%, what I try to do with you is recognize that you know some of this material, but also we need to recognize that you don't know it all. So you have some ability to teach, but you also have to be on the learning side of this. So we'll have a small group discussion in which we talk about these issues and arrive to an understanding through student discussion. Those students, however, who scored below a 60%, you will need to retry the lesson. So on those occasions, you'll have to pull out your phone or a laptop and have a seat and get your lesson done at the beginning of our class during our mastery time. All right, that's it for our flipped learning. The next time you have one of these lessons, it will be a content lesson. Woohoo! I know we've all been waiting for that. We are getting into our content right after our the next time we see each other. Thank you very much for joining me today for this welcome lesson to Mr. Samuelson's classroom. I hope you learned something, and farewell.